So after that last exercise, you've waited for about a minute or so. So I'm just going to take your control pose again. And again, it doesn't matter what you get. The whole aspect is just to be consistent in how we measure it. And it gives you feedback of your breathing. So whenever you're ready, Katrin, take a small breath in through your nose, a small breath out through your nose, pinch your nose with your fingers, relax into your body, and continue holding the breath until you feel the first distinct urge to breathe, the first stress to breathe, the first desire to breathe. You may feel your diaphragm spasm, you may feel the breathing muscles in the neck spasm. Okay, so there it was 17 seconds again. So it's the same as the first one. And the next exercise, which I'd like you to practice for a few minutes, it's a very simple exercise and it pretty much works for everybody. It involves just blocking one nostril. So I'd like you to choose which nostril is more blocked. Is it your left nostril or is it your right nostril? And then try the other nostril. And just take a breath. So you'll get an idea of how open or close. So what I'd like you to do is to block the free nostril and to breathe through the more blocked one. So block your free one, which is your right, and now you're breathing through the left. And all you're doing here is just focusing on the airflow as it comes in and out of the nose. So you may feel the slightly colder air coming into the nostrils and the slightly warmer air leaving the nostrils. And the key is with this, have a feeling of relaxation throughout the body. Bring a feeling of limpness throughout the body, feeling of softness. So you're concentrating on slowing down the speed of the air as it enters the nostrils. And we'll just maintain that for about 3 to 4 minutes. So you're slowing down the speed of the air. And as you slow down the speed of the air, the amplitude and your breathing will become quieter. And as your breathing becomes quieter, you'll feel a tolerable need for air. That's the objective. Now, if, for example, you feel that your breathing has reduced too much and you're feeling a little bit stressed, just take a rest. And always be conscious of not tensing up the body. So don't tense up your tummy. Just continue to bring a feeling of relaxation throughout the body. So you're focusing on the airflow coming in and out of the nose. By the way, do you have air shortage? Excellent. So just to continue with that. Now, your breathing seems to be regular there. There doesn't seem to be any, tension or jerkiness happening. So continue just softening the breathing, softening the breath. So what you're looking to maintain is regular breathing, calm breathing, softly breathing in and out through the nose. And again, the less effort you put in, the better. Let your hand do the work. So by blocking off one nostril, it's creating a resistance because now you're breathing through a more blocked nostril. And just breathing through it softly. So we'll continue for about a minute more. Just softly breathing through your nose. Focusing on the airflow in and out of the nostrils. And if your mind wanders off, just bring your attention back onto your, the airflow as it comes in and out of the nose. Concentrate on slowing down the speed of the air as it enters the nostrils. So you're taking a soft breath in and a gentle, relaxed and soft breath out. The breath out should always be relaxed and easy. In other words, allow the body do the exhalation for you. Never to force the exhalation. You seem to be interfering with a little bit there. Take a rest. So if you notice that your tummy is getting tense, just take a rest. Or if you notice that you're kind of restricting by tensing up the tummy a little bit, again, just take a rest. So after a few seconds, we'll go back to it again. So did you have air shortage there? And did you have it, was it sustained for about a minute or two? Was it throughout? Okay, great. And also, of course, as I said, it's just because I know the biggest mistakes, I made it when I started doing reduced breathing, and I've seen many people do it, that sometimes with perfectionist tendencies, we put too much effort into it, and that's, it kind of goes against us with this. So again, block that same nostril again, and just gently soften the breath, gently quieten the breath, gently calm the breath, slowing down the speed of the air as it enters the nostrils. Slow, gentle breath in, slow, gentle, quiet breath in, and a gentle, relaxed breath out. And all you're doing is bringing a feeling of relaxation throughout the body. So we'll do it for about half a minute more. Continuously having that air shortage. Not to interfere with your breathing muscles. not to tense up the body, just to do it with relaxation. Let your hand do the work. Let your hand do the work. So you could also, of course, imagine your breathing gently reducing. You can imagine that instead of taking the bigger breath in, that you're taking a shorter breath in. So you take in a shorter breath in and a relaxed breath out, or you could be slowing down the speed of the air as it comes in and out of the nose. Do you have air shortage there? Excellent. And your eyes look glassy, which is a great sign for me, because it shows that you had air shortage. You can take a rest. So just allow your breathing to go to normal. Bring again a feeling of relaxation throughout the body. Don't even think about your breathing. So it's very beneficial throughout the day to take attention out of the mind and into the body, because when we're more connected with the body, we can notice stress when it originates, because oftentimes stress, one of the first places it can originate is we feel it in the tummy. We're starting to feel tense. And if we're so disconnected from our body that we're stuck in our head all the time, we're not getting to see the effect that, yes, here I am under stress. And as I said, stress, it's so harmful for the human organism. So by having our attention on our breath, and by having our attention on the body, and by bringing a feeling of relaxation to the body, it also helps to slow down mind activity. And research has shown that people who are happier think less. And the reason that they're happier is that most of our thinking, probably 80-90% of it, is usually repetitive, it's useless, it's often negative, it's often critical. We're often worried about situations, we're anxious about the future, we have regrets about the past. And the more we think and the more anxious we are, there's a huge relationship between, yes, people who are anxious think too much. People who are depressed, they are thinking too much. People who are stressed, they're thinking too much. And one of the most beautiful things to do is just take attention out of the mind, onto the breath, into the inner body. Thought activity then slows down. There's structural changes that take place in the brain. But also, because thought activity slows down, we're having less negative and incessant thinking, we become happier. Another fundamental aspect is our ability to concentrate, because concentration is how long we can hold our attention on something for a period of time without distraction. Whereas if I'm hyperactive, if for instance somebody comes in and they're hyperactive and they have lots of thoughts going through their mind, they don't have the ability to concentrate on anything. Yesterday I was working with a client and he told me he gets up in the morning at 7 a.m. and the first thing he does, he turns on the news, and he's watching news for about an hour, and he says, I had hyperactivity since childhood, he said, I've never read a book in my life. And the reason that I said, the reason you're putting on the news is because you have so much mental commentary that you're putting on the news to help drown out your mental commentary. And probably the reason that you've never read a book is because you may have had, difficulty holding your attention on the page. That you'd move down a few sentences, but the mind would wander off. The beauty about this is it improves focus, concentration, productivity, and happiness. Why? Because by following your breath, you're taking back control of the mind. And gaps start to appear between thoughts. And then you can hold your attention effortlessly. So if you are reading a book, you can effortlessly follow the sentences, so that when you reach the end of the page, you've been able to take on board the context, the text. So it's really tremendous to give us mastery over the minds, because it's super to teach people how to think, and Western education does that. But if we teach people how to think, we also need to teach them how to stop thinking. And that control is gave by focusing on the breath. So my point is, before I went off on a tangent, focusing on your breathing throughout the day and bringing that feeling of relaxation, you're literally able to influence how open or closed your blood vessels are, because you felt warmer when you were doing reduced breathing. And as you felt warmer, of course it's going to be a good thing, because your blood circulation has improved. The blood vessels have dilated. The 100,000 miles of blood vessels throughout the body have gently opened up. So from a physiological point of view, we're able to get more blood flow to cells, to tissues, to organs, including, of course, the heart and the brain. The brain with more oxygen is calmer. The brain with more oxygen is quieter. And the brain with more oxygen is more alert. So we're helping to counteract the stress of modern life from two perspectives. One is a physiological aspect by reversing chronic hyperventilation or chronic overbreathing. And the second aspect is by taking attention out of the mind onto the breath or to the inner body, so that we're slowing down thought activity. So throughout the day is to make it a habit to be aware of the breathing, to bring our attention onto the breath, and just to bring a softness throughout the breath. Do it various times throughout the day, not to be just stuck in our heads.